All right, today we're diving into something really cool in public transportation. It's called Flex Routes, and it's basically the bus that bends the rules to meet you where you are. So, let me ask you this. Have you ever been standing there, maybe lugging some groceries, and you can see your house, but it's just that little bit too far to walk comfortably? And you just think, man, I wish this bus could just drop me off at my door. If you've ever had that thought, well, you are definitely not alone. And that exact situation gets to the heart of a classic challenge in the transit world. It's known as the last mile problem. It's all about that gap, right? The space between where the bus drops you off and where you actually need to go. I mean, think about it. The standard city bus. It's awesome for busy streets and downtown areas, moving a ton of people efficiently. But what about the suburbs or rural communities where everything is much more spread out? A fixed route there can leave you high and dry, still needing a car or a really, really long walk to finish your trip. So what's the fix? Well, this is where flex routes come into the picture. And this isn't just some small tweak to the system. No. This is a complete rethink of how a bus can actually serve a community, offering a solution that's smarter and, you guessed it, way more flexible. So what is a flex route exactly? Well, at its core, it's a hybrid. It takes the predictability of a normal bus and mashes it together with the convenience of an on-demand service, kind of like a rideshare or a taxi. And that combination, that's what makes it such a game changer. You know, the easiest way to wrap your head around it is to just picture it. Part bus, part Uber. You get the reliable schedule and affordability of public transit, but with that personalized touch of a service that comes closer to you. It's the best of both worlds, really. Predictability meets convenience. Okay, but here's where it gets really interesting. FlexRoute isn't some one-size-fits-all thing. Nope. Different communities have different needs, so transit agencies have come up with a couple of different models. Let's dig into the two main flavors of Flex. So on one side, you've got what's called the zonal shuttle. This one basically acts like a shared taxi, but it only operates within a specific zone. And on the other side, you've got the deviating bus. This one sticks to a main route, but it can make little side trips for pickups and drop-offs if you request it. Let's break down how they both work. First up, the zonal shuttle. A great example of this is Carbon Transit out in Pennsylvania. This is a true on-demand service. You have to make a reservation, and it'll take you between any two spots inside their designated flex area. There are no bus stops. It literally comes to your curb. It's a super efficient way to provide service in those less populated, more rural areas. Then you've got model number two, the deviating bus. This is what agencies like the Utah Transit Authority and Tri-County Transit use. This bus runs on a fixed route, on a set schedule, which is perfect for your regular commuters. But, and this is the magic part, it can literally deviate, bend off its path for a short distance to come get you or drop you off closer to where you need to be. And what's really fascinating is seeing how the rules for these deviations can be totally different depending on where you are. For example, UTA in Utah lets its buses stray up to 3/4 of a mile off route, and you only need to give them 2 hours notice. But with Tri-County Transit, it's a much smaller quarter-mile deviation, and you got to book it a full 24 hours in advance. It just goes to show you always have to check the local rules. Okay, so we know what they are, we know the different types, but how do you actually ride one? Let's walk through it step by step, because it's a little different from just walking up to a bus stop and hopping on. The whole process is actually pretty simple. First, you got to make sure your pickup and drop-off spots are inside the service area. Step 2, and this is crucial, you have to call and make a reservation in advance. You can't just flag these down. You give them your details, and then the most important part, just be ready and waiting at the curb when it's your time to go. And I've got to stress this one part. You have to plan ahead. For most of these services, you can't just call and get a ride right then and there. You usually need to book it at least one full business day in advance. So yeah, spontaneity is not really the name of the game here. This quote from Carbon Transit's guidelines really spells it out. It says, the passenger has to be waiting outside, at the pickup address, in plain sight. That's what curb to curb means. You can't be inside watching TV. The responsibility is on you, the rider, to be outside and ready to go. Now, when you book, they won't give you an exact time like 2:15 p.m. They'll give you a pickup window. It's usually about 30 minutes long. So the vehicle could show up 15 minutes before your scheduled time or 15 minutes after. That bit of wiggle room is what lets the driver efficiently pick up other people along the way. And once that vehicle pulls up, a timer basically starts. The drivers will only wait for about 5 minutes. If you're not there and ready to get on within that window, they're going to leave, and you'll probably get marked as a no-show, which you don't want to have that happen too often. So let's zoom out for a second. Why does all this matter? Well, this is more than just a convenient new bus service. This kind of innovation is really pointing to the future of public transportation. It's about building a system that's smarter, more efficient, and more fair.
I mean, the benefits here are just huge. Flex routes open up transit access for tons of people in suburbs and rural spots where a regular bus just doesn't make sense. For seniors or people with disabilities, it can be an absolute lifeline for getting to doctor's appointments or the grocery store. Plus, it's a way smarter use of our money than running giant empty buses on routes with hardly any riders. At the end of the day, it's about making transportation more equitable for everybody.
And that really leaves us with a big, exciting question. As our technology gets better and our communities keep changing, could this kind of flexible, hybrid approach be the real key to unlocking public transit for every single person, no matter where they happen to live? It's definitely something to think about.